Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Debbie Adams. She is a author, as the name says. So we'll be talking about her book, her second book, and much more beyond that. Welcome to the show, Debbie.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the show. You are welcome to India, Devi, in this online format. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll talk about writing, we'll talk about God and the divine promises. It's the name of your book also, and how God fulfills them. But first, to understand, why do you, this is your second book, if I understand, Divine Promises, but you call yourself a new author. Why do you call yourself a new author? And is it that it has a different meaning that I don't know about this new author stuff?
I guess I call myself a new author because this is only my second book. And all the authors that I know personally and those that I do follow have, at least 10 books, on their belt. So I guess that's why I call myself a new author, because I'm just starting this journey.
Wonderful. That's very modest of you. That's very nice of you. You look at a humble of you. I have seen authors who have not even published their books, but they write the author word before, and one book published, it means they are author for a lifetime. But then it is even great authors. You see some of them, they have written only one book in their lifetime, and today they are one of the greatest authors of all time. They remember like that. But this world is different. That world was different. Now you need to those books also to create your profile. So many people, especially in business, they try to do that. Be that as it may, let us talk about your book, Divine Promises. What tell us about your first book, and also this now about Divine Promises, so that people know about more about your writing.
My first book is called Unlocking the Code to Bliss, and it is about having a healthy lifestyle. And so many people are trying to lose weight, to live healthy, to feel better. And at that point in my life, I was feeling tired all the time. And I did have a few pounds I needed to lose. And God created our bodies in such a way that we can go out in nature, enjoy nature, walk barefoot on the grass, and eat in a certain way, not really diet food, but eat our food in a certain way. And then I talk about intermittent fasting in there, that is something that I do all the time. And so my first book sort of led to my second book, because my second book is called Divine Promises, Trusting God's Faithfulness. I almost forgot the subtitle of my own book. And it's more about the promises of God and how faithful God is. And He has been so faithful to me in my life, and that He told me I needed to write a book letting everybody know, no matter what you're going through, that God is faithful. He's always there. And my favorite promise of His is the one where He says, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And I've been through a lot in my lifetime, and I'm 15 years cancer free right now. Thank the Lord. And He took me through that. He took me through a almost tornado. It was on top of my house, but it didn't hit my house. It just sat there for a minute. And as I was praying, it went on. And so that was the hand of God. And through different jobs, losing a job, having, circumstances on jobs, death, whatever you're going through, God is there. He promises that he will take care of you, he will heal you, he will provide for you, just, whatever your life's journey is. He has plans for our lives, and he will always be there for you. And that's what this book is about. Just to encourage, to inspire people to never lose faith, never, give up when you think, this is the end, my life is terrible. I mean, your life's not ever terrible. We as humans might think it is, but God is always there. So just turn to God, and that's what my book is about.
Absolutely, absolutely. But how do you turn to God when you have not done that for long? And how can they do that? In your case, many people want the miracle first and then they want to look at God. Or they remember God only in terms times of trouble. As soon as the trouble is gone, for them, God is gone. And several cases, even, for example, I used to pray a lot during exam time, and when the exam was gone, the prayer gets lesser, and that prayer is gone. So that was during when you are a bit more young and all that stuff. Now you look at things much more differently. But through your book, how do you explain, or what do you want to say, even beyond the book, as to how can people experience God, not just in the good times or not so good times, but also in the good times and very good times?
You're so true, because I've been there too. You trust God, you pray for God for something, and it comes through, and then it's like, okay, I can do this on my own. But that's not the way God wants us. He wants us to rely on him, trust him every day, every minute of our lives. And you were asking about how do you trust God? How do you start that? First, you have to believe, but even if you don't believe, you can call out to God and he will be there, whether you believe or not, because he is always there. And yeah, I talk about it in my book, the promise of eternal security. And, one day this earth is going to end. And no matter who you believe in or what you believe in, you're going to go somewhere. You're either going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell. And I talk about that in my book as well. And but just call out to God. Just believe that God will help you, and call out to him, and whatever you're going through, he's going to be there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me understand it for the viewers. Is that uh, when you were a child, you were very fond of writing. Used to go to the library with your dad, and you even wrote small stories back then. What happened after that? And then, if it was God's will for you to become a writer, why did that break happen in between? And then you are writing your second book at this stage in time. What happened? Was it God's will? How do we understand God's will, or his blessings, his promise? Help us understand. How do you see it for yourself?
I did start as a child. I grew up um, in Middle Tennessee on a farm in the country. I had horses that I rode every day, and chickens, and I got chased by goats, and I hate those things now. And but yes, I did. I would go to the library every Saturday with my dad, and sometimes my mom would take me. And we had a barn out on the farm, and I would get up in the top loft of that barn, and just me. I didn't think about it back then, but it was just me and God. I would read whatever books I had gotten at the library, and whatever ideas was in my head, I would just write them down. And I think God was maybe preparing me back then for now, because and maybe I had to go through a lot of learning to trust him before I could, become a faith author to actually talk about him. but there was a lot of, life experiences that happened in between when I was a child versus now when I'm an adult. And God told me 3 years ago that I needed to start writing, and I needed to tell people my testimony. And my first thought was, I have no idea about writing. I had friends that were authors. Um, but I told God, I said, I have no idea how to do this. If this is your will, if this is what you want me to do, you're going to have to show me how I can do this. And if you ask God to show you, He's going to show you, because He put this lady in my life. I started following her on Facebook, and lo and behold, she was having a book writing retreat. She was going to teach everybody how to the basics of writing a book. So that's how I got started. And I had to go to California. I'd never been on a plane by myself before. It's always been with my husband. So, God was with me with that. And then I came home, wrote my first book, and it got published on Amazon. It didn't go bestseller, but probably because I didn't market it like I should have. And my second book, Divine Promises, this right here.
Yeah,
Um,
can you show it nicely, please? Because it was covering your face. I want the book by your side. Yes, yeah, yes. This is better. This is better.
like that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. And so with this one, I got a publisher. And so he showed me a lot of, tips and tricks of the trade. And so after a day and a half, my second book became bestseller on Amazon with the ebook. And then I'm also in the process of writing another one, and it will be out in February 2024.
Wonderful, wonderful. This Divine Promises is a very promising title. Help us about how did you come to this title?
It I knew that God wanted me to write about my life and how He was faithful in my life. And so He put on my heart this title because he basically told me that, His promises are true. He is faithful. And so He is the divine one. So that's how that title came about. And when we as humans might make a promise to somebody, like I might make a promise to you, is like, oh, I'll help you tomorrow, do whatever. But something might come up, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't, do that today. Let's reschedule, or not do it, or whatever. But God, you ask God, and He says, I will be there. He's going to be there. And He will never, like I mentioned before, He will never leave you nor forsake you. And that's basically how that title came about. And it's very true, because God is divine. We are human. And that's the only way that He can be faithful to us through His promises, is by His divine nature.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, through the divinity of God, now you are inspiring a lot of people. What do you want? How to be remembered in terms of being an inspiration through writing books? What is it that you want to convey to your readers?
I'm writing books, faith books, and I want to show readers that God is always there. We will always go through some circumstance, some experience in life. That's just the way life is. And we have ups, we have downs, we have, peaceful times, we have, bad times. And I just want to encourage them to don't give up, to, keep moving forward and, just say yes to God and then move forward. Just rely on him and trust him. And that is what my I want my message to be, because I've always, even as a child, I've loved helping people, helping others in whatever way I can do. And that's what I want my book to do. I want my book to be an inspiration to others. I want it to help others in their life and whatever, situation or, experience that they're going through at the moment.
Right, Debbie. You talk about some favorite promises. Can you share some of those favorite promises that you talk about?
Well, I talk about, I've already mentioned the promise of I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And then there's one that I think I talk maybe a half of a chapter on, but it's Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. And when I had cancer, God gave me this verse. And so this has been my life verse. And this is, one of my favorite promises. And it's trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding, for he will direct thy path. And before that, my life verse was Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. But when I went through cancer, a lot of people go through cancer. I had it easy because, I didn't have to go through chemo, but I did go through radiation. Um, and when I went to do my radiation treatments, I would always come in there with a smile. And I guess they had never seen anybody come for treatments and always have a smile. But that's just the way I always am. I mean, you see me now, I'm smiling. And I'm just, a happy go lucky. I've always been like that. And so they would ask me, why are you smiling and you're getting, cancer treatments? And I'm like, well, what else are you going to do? I mean, Jesus is with me. Jesus is going to take care of me. It's either it's going to go one way or the other. And either way, I win because, if I wasn't here, I would be in heaven with him. So that's winning. And if he heals me and I'm still here, that's winning. So either way. And so that's basically, the top three promises that I hold dear to my heart.
Absolutely. There is much to learn from you about your book, about your journey, Debbie. So for people who would like to, connect with you, what is the best way for them to do so?
They can check out my website. It's debbieadams.biz. That's BIZ. And on there, I have pictures of my books and a summary of what my books are about. And I also have um, places on, I tell them where they can go to find my books, which my first book is only on Amazon. But my second book is on every online bookstore, and it's even in Canada. And I have a contact link on there. They can contact me through email. And I have a chat link. And if they just want to chat, they just have a question, they can send me a message and I'll respond back, as soon as I can. And yeah, that's the quickest way, to get in touch with me is through my website.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.